Business was, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I was studying business in college and never done a school play or anything.
In 1987, Tom Selleck pulled off a secret wedding like something straight out of a movie. He used a fake name, fooled the minister, and even forgot the marriage license. Imagine that chaos before dinner. But that sneaky ceremony wasn't the real drama. It was only the beginning of a stormy road ahead. Soon, Tom would face a water theft scandal, a freak helicopter death on set, and a son fighting addiction. By 2025, the world watched in shock as Tom admitted live on TV that he might lose everything. The man who once had it all was suddenly fighting to keep it together. Tom Selleck's story started far from the glitz of Hollywood. Born on January 29, 1945 in Detroit, Michigan, Tom grew up in a tight family. His mom, Martha, stayed home raising the kids while his dad, Robert, worked real estate deals by day and served in the Army working on B-29 bombers during World War II. Tom was the second of 4 children. His big brother, Bob, came first, followed by Martha and Daniel. Detroit back then was loud, rough, and full of factory smoke. But when Tom was just 3 years old, everything flipped. In 1948, Robert packed up the family and moved them across the country to California. He took a risky commission-only job with Coldwell Banker in Los Angeles. No paycheck, no guarantees, just faith. They landed in Sherman Oaks, a quiet, dusty stretch of farmland that would one day become Star Central. Robert believed California was where dreams paid off, and he was right. By 1960, he was pulling in $70,000 a year, close to the president's salary. But for Tom, growing up in California wasn't all sunshine. He shot up taller than everyone else, 6'4" by the time he was done growing. That height made him stand out, and not always in a good way. He felt awkward, unsure, and different. But instead of shrinking from it, he turned that size into power, dominating on the basketball court at Grant High School. He played baseball too, strong, sharp, and determined, even when life kept testing him. At 17, disaster struck. One wild night on Mulholland Drive, Tom was in his mom's red Chevy Corvair with 2 friends when the car spun out, flew off the road, and crashed. The wreck was so bad it nearly killed him. The kind of thing you don't forget. He later opened his 2024 memoir, You Never Know, with that story, calling it a turning point that made him more cautious, more grateful, and more focused than ever. Even as his dad's business started booming, those early years were a grind. Tom hustled through high school, working part-time at a clothing store to help out and save up. When he started taking acting classes, he still kept that job, showing he was never too proud to work hard. Instead of chasing the full basketball scholarship Montana State offered him, he stayed close to home, attending Valley Junior College so he could keep working and aim for his dream school, USC. By 1965, after saving every penny, Tom finally made it to USC. He joined the basketball team, but the truth was humbling. Just 4 points in 7 games his first season, and none the next. The coaches said he had speed but weak defense, and his sports dream quietly slipped away. Still, he didn't quit. While majoring in business, he picked up side gigs, even working for United Airlines as a campus rep. Then his Sigma Chi fraternity brothers dared him to appear on The Dating Game. He went twice, in 1965 and again in 1967, and lost both times. It was embarrassing, but fate had other plans. A casting agent watching that show noticed him and invited him to audition for a Pepsi commercial. He nailed it. All he had to do was dunk a basketball, though he downed so much Pepsi during filming that he ended up sick. Still, that $1,000 paycheck changed his life, opening the door to a deal with 20th Century Fox. But just when things were taking off, the Vietnam War came knocking. In 1967, Tom got drafted, and his world stopped again. Instead of heading to the front lines, he joined the California National Guard's 161st Infantry Regiment, serving faithfully from 1967 to 1973. It was a move that shaped his discipline, his humility, and his sense of purpose, lessons that would carry him straight into Hollywood legend status. Tom climbed the military ladder fast, from sergeant to second lieutenant after training at the California Military Academy. He even got called out to help during the Watts riots in Los Angeles, where chaos ruled the streets, but that loyalty came at a price. While he was serving, 20th Century Fox dropped him cold. Imagine giving everything to your country and coming home to find Hollywood had moved on without you. He kept his uniform in his car trunk, ready for duty at any moment, even showing up to auditions with it there, just in case. When he finally came back to acting, he joined the Beverly Hills Playhouse under the fierce Milton Katselas, a man known for pushing actors to the edge. The training was brutal. Katselas would make his students clap every time he entered, yell in their faces, and even demand they pull their own hair to feel the emotion. Some said he was a genius. Others whispered it felt like a cult. There were rumors the classes were used to pull people towards Scientology and money schemes. But Tom stayed focused. He pushed through the madness without getting caught up in that scene. Before his big break, Tom picked up modeling gigs, posing for Salem cigarette ads. His tall frame and clean-cut charm made him perfect for the camera. Those cigarette spots paid better than his old United Airlines job. But when he hit fame with Magnum PI, those photos came back to bite him hard. Reporters grilled him about promoting smoking, and he hated it. He didn't want to be known as the guy selling cigarettes to kids, so he quietly tried to bury that part of his past. And then there was the dating game, the humiliation that haunted him for years. Between 1965 and 1967, he went on that show twice, and both times he lost on national TV. He later told a reporter it was the most embarrassing thing I ever did. His good looks didn't help, his charm didn't work. It crushed his confidence. That sting of rejection stuck with him every time he stepped in front of a camera. By 1969, things started to move again when he landed a role in Judd for The Defense. Finally, it looked like progress, but Hollywood wasn't done humbling him yet. He got fired from another show because he was too tall. At 6'4", he made other actors look tiny, and directors didn't know how to frame the shots. One agent even told him straight up that his height was a liability. Getting dropped for something he couldn't control broke him, but he refused to quit. From 1974 to 1979, he clawed his way back with a recurring part in The Rockford Files, playing Detective Lance White. It should have been his moment, except he clashed with James Garner, the show's star. Tom wanted the character to be realistic and sharp, while Garner thought Lance should be goofy and light. Their disagreements spilled onto the set. Scripts rewritten on the fly, tension thick enough to cut with a knife. The crew saw it all. For Tom, every shoot day felt like a battle of pride and ego. Then came the 1972 horror flick, Daughters of Satan, shot in the Philippines. It was low-budget chaos from day one. The set was dangerous. During a fire stunt, the special effects glitched, and real flames roared way too close. Tom got burned, his hair singed, and the crew barely spoke English, making it impossible to coordinate safely. Yet, the studio silenced the incident, covering it up completely. Tom pushed through, terrified but determined, proving that even in pain, he'd finish what he started. By 1976, he got a quick part on Charlie's Angels, playing a love interest. But before viewers could blink, he was fired again. Producer Leonard Goldberg said Tom was too tall and made the Angels look small. Others said there was no chemistry. The show exploded into a hit. Without him, looking frustrated, Tom found himself back doing commercials, wearing the same single suit to every audition because it was all he had. Director Robert Sallin once said Tom even wore that same suit on camera for a soap commercial because he couldn't afford another. Then came Magnum PI, the role that would change everything, though he almost turned it down. When he first read the script, he thought it was ridiculous. The original version had Magnum living in a cliffside mansion, flying a hang glider with machine guns and fighting off bad guys like a parody James Bond. Tom stared at the producers and said flat out, "I don't want to play what I look like." He wanted depth, not a cartoon. After 6 failed pilots, he knew what bad writing looked like, and he wasn't about to become another Hollywood punchline. This role felt like Tom Selleck's final shot at redemption, one last chance before Hollywood shut its doors for good. But he refused to fake it. He told creator Donald Belisario straight up, "I want a character with humor, not just action." Belisario actually listened. He threw out the script, rewrote the entire show, and delayed filming just to reshape Magnum PI into something real. CBS panicked at the cost. But that rewrite saved not only the shows, it saved Tom's entire career. Then came 1984, and with it, a twist straight out of a romantic drama. Tom was still married to Jacqueline Ray when he met a woman who would flip his world upside down, Gilly Mack, a British actress performing in the West End production of Cats. Tom became obsessed. He didn't just go see it once or twice, he saw the show 12 times. His Lassiter co-star Jane Seymour said, "I like cats, but I didn't get why he went back 12 times." People started whispering. Tabloids exploded with rumors of a secret affair. Reporters trailed them both, hoping for proof of something scandalous. But Jilly didn't even know who Tom Selleck was. Her TV had been stolen 3 months earlier, and she'd never seen Magnum PI. After the shows, they'd have quiet dinners together, nothing flashy, just connection. In 1982, Tom divorced Jacqueline Ray, and even though he denied any overlap, the gossip wouldn't die down. The shadow of that rumor followed him and Jilly for years. Back in 1980, before Magnum PI became a hit, Tom had almost grabbed another legendary role, Indiana Jones. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas had picked him. They loved his charm and chemistry with actress Sean Young in the audition. Everything was lined up until CBS said no. Tom had already signed with them for Magnum, and CBS executive Bob Daly refused to release him. The heartbreak, a Screen Actors Guild strike hit that same year, halting Magnum filming for 6 whole months. The perfect window he could have used to film Raiders of the Lost Ark. Instead, he waited in Hawaii while Harrison Ford took the part and became a superstar. Tom later said, "I didn't see myself as a victim, but I wasn't happy about it." That missed chance reportedly cost him over $100 million across his career. Then tragedy hit. During Magnum filming, a helicopter crashed off the coast of Oahu, killing 33-year-old camera operator Robert Vanderkar. The pilot, Robert Sanders, survived but was left badly injured. They'd been filming what was supposed to be a simple ocean shot when everything went wrong. Sanders dove repeatedly, trying to save Vanderkar, but it was too late. Tom was devastated. He went head-to-head with Universal Studios demanding tighter safety rules. He pushed for more coordinators, backup helicopters, and proper briefings. The studio said it was too expensive, but Tom fired back, "It's lives we're talking about." His stand forced industry-wide changes that made future production safer. By May 1st, 1988, Magnum PI aired its final episode. Over 50 million people tuned in, but behind the fame, it had been a constant war with CBS. The network wanted to cancel it early and even planned to kill off Magnum in season 7. He was shot, slipped into a coma, and the final scene showed him walking into the light, symbolizing death. Fans lost their minds. Letters poured in by the thousands, demanding a real ending. CBS gave in and renewed it for season 8, costing them millions in budget overruns. At that point, the show was costing $1.2 million per episode, and CBS wanted to cut corners. Fewer helicopter shots, cheaper actors, fewer locations. Tom refused to let them destroy the show's spirit. He fought back, saying, "If you cheapen it, it dies." He didn't just star in Magnum PI, he protected it like it was his baby. In 1987, Tom hit another peak with 3 Men and a Baby. The movie made a massive $167 million, but something spooky stole the spotlight. Viewers spotted what looked like a young boy standing behind a curtain in one scene. The rumors went wild. People claimed a child had died in that apartment and that the ghost appeared in the film. The legend spread so fast that Disney didn't even bother correcting it. Some say they liked the free publicity. Years later, Tom went on The Tonight Show and revealed the truth. The ghost was just a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson from a deleted scene. The movie was shot entirely on a Toronto soundstage, not a haunted apartment, but by then, the story had taken on a life of its own. Then came Quigley Down Under in 1990, filmed deep in the rugged Australian outback. It was a brutal shoot, scorching heat, wild terrain, and endless stunts on horseback. Tom pushed himself to the limit, battling exhaustion and tension with the Aussie crew. Critics were split. Roger Ebert praised his performance, but the movie struggled to break even. Still, Tom called it one of the proudest moments of his career, saying he finally got to play a character that reflected his true spirit. And when Batman came around in 1989, Tom's name popped up again. He was on the short list alongside Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, and even Charlie Sheen. But Warner Brothers shocked everyone when they cast Michael Keaton. Fans were furious. Over 50,000 protest letters flooded the studio. The outrage was wild, but Tom stayed silent, watching from afar, already knowing how quickly Hollywood could crown and crush its heroes. The movie Batman raked in a massive $411 million and changed superhero films forever. Tom had the chance to be part of that history, but he turned it down. Comic book movies weren't serious business back then, and he was still locked into Magnum PI years later. He openly admitted he regretted that call. In 1992, Tom hit the screen again with Mr. Baseball, playing a washed-up Yankee shipped off to Japan for a second shot at fame. It was funny, awkward, and surprisingly deep, tackling the cultural gap between American and Japanese baseball. Tom trained hard, and the film even became a real teaching tool for U.S. players heading overseas. But when it hit theaters, it didn't score big. Critics said it was messy, and audiences barely showed up. It was Tom's first big miss after years of hits, and it stung. Then came 1997's In and Out, the movie that had everyone talking. Tom locked lips with Kevin Kline on screen for a full 12 seconds, and the world lost its mind. Fans were shocked, especially since Tom had served on the NRA board and supported conservative causes. People asked if that role clashed with his beliefs. Tom fired back, "I make faces in front of a camera. That doesn't make me Solomon." He made it clear. He was an actor, not a politician. That daring scene didn't just stir headlines, it opened new doors for LGBTQ plus representation in mainstream film, breaking barriers Hollywood had long avoided. From 1995 to 2000, Tom popped up on Friends as Monica's charming older boyfriend, Richard. Audiences loved him, but behind the scenes, he struggled to keep up with the show's quick, sarcastic humor. He'd often ask Matthew Perry for timing tips. When Perry once tried to copy Tom's signature mustache, the crowd went wild, and when Tom's character threw the line, "Nice mustache, when puberty hits, it'll kick in," the whole cast burst out laughing. Those Friends appearances made him beloved all over again. But not every comeback landed. In 1998, he starred in The Closer, hoping to reignite his TV magic, but it tanked. Only 10 episodes aired before CBS pulled the plug. Critics were brutal, and Tom was crushed. He disappeared for nearly a year, retreating to his 63-acre California ranch to reset. He later said that time taught him humility, patience, and how to face failure head-on. Then came a quiet rebirth, Jesse Stone. From 2005 to 2015, Tom starred in 9 TV movies based on Robert B. Parker's novels, even co-writing the later ones. The series was a surprise hit with older audiences and crushed the competition in ratings. But success didn't come without drama. Another writer accused Tom of plagiarism, claiming he stole story ideas. The lawsuit ended with a private settlement, and both sides stayed silent. Still, Jesse Stone kept rolling, proving Tom could command the screen without flashy budgets or explosions. In 2006, Tom guest starred on Boston Legal, but what should have been a smooth gig turned tense fast. His real-life NRA affiliation clashed with the show's politically liberal cast. The scripts started poking at gun control, and tensions flared during table reads. Co-stars challenged his views, and it left a mark. Years later, Tom admitted that experience helped push him to step down from the NRA board in 2018. His 2004 performance in Ike, Countdown to D-Day, was one of his most intense roles yet. Filmed in New Zealand, Tom worked 18-hour days portraying Dwight Eisenhower with raw grit and emotion. But the stress nearly broke him. He confessed the experience strained his marriage to Jillie Mack and drained him emotionally and physically. He said, "Playing Eisenhower didn't just stay on set, it followed me home." From 2010 to 2024, Tom returned to TV as Frank Reagan in Blue Bloods, and he ruled Friday nights. He was the highest paid actor on the show, earning $200,000 per episode. But by 2023, CBS demanded a 25% pay cut to keep the series alive. Tom agreed, losing $1.2 million, but it wasn't enough. CBS still canceled the show. Tom begged the network to reconsider, but the finale aired on December 13th, 2024. During the final scene, he read a poem at the Reagan family dinner table, and everyone, cast and crew, broke down in tears. By then, his body was catching up to him. In 2015, Tom injured his knee during a stunt, and the pain lingered for years. By 2025, both knees had been replaced, and photos showed long scars running down his legs. Walking was difficult. He leaned on a pickup truck for support between takes. But quitting, never an option. He kept working through pain, determined to finish strong. Those famous Blue Bloods family dinner scenes were Tom's idea. He wanted them to feel real, like his own family dinners growing up. But not everything behind the scenes was peaceful. He clashed with writers over what he called too political storylines. The cast had their own tricks to survive those marathon eating scenes too. Vanessa Ray once ate 17 rolls before learning Tom just buttered his for show. When COVID hit in 2020, production shut down. Tom, now 75, stayed secluded at his ranch, wrestling with pain, age, and reflection. In his 2024 memoir, You Never Know, he opened up about his depression, arthritis, and how walking itself had become a struggle. Yet he refused to stop showing up. Every scene, every day, even when it hurt. Tom's story with love started way back in 1971 when he married model Jacqueline Ray, the woman who believed in him when Hollywood didn't care. She stood by him during the lean years, scraping by while he chased auditions. But when Magnum PI exploded in the early 80s, fame changed everything. While filming in Hawaii, Jacqueline watched her husband become a sex symbol, constantly surrounded by women, always smiling for cameras. That was when it hit her. The man she'd supported through years of struggle was slipping away. Friends said fame went straight to his head. The island life and attention pulled him in. She felt betrayed after everything she'd given up for him. Their 1982 divorce left her with just 3 years of support, a house, and a car. Nothing close to what she deserved. 5 years later, in 1987, Tom found love again. And this time, he kept it secret. He'd been obsessed with 25-year-old British dancer Gilly Mack since 1983, watching her perform in Cats over and over until he finally asked her out. On August 7th, 1987, they tied the knot at Lake Tahoe, using fake names to keep it quiet. It was the beginning of a whole new chapter, one filled with more fame, more pressure, and secrets Hollywood never saw coming. At their secret 1987 wedding, Tom Selleck didn't even use his real name. He became Tom Jenkins, while Gilly Mack went by Susie Mark. Even the minister didn't know who he was marrying until minutes before the vows. And get this, they forgot the marriage license. Someone had to speed off to Reno before dinner to fix it. The ceremony was tiny, just close family, no press, and only Polaroids, so no one could leak photos. But even with all the secrecy, the marriage wasn't picture perfect. Tom's obsession with work nearly wrecked it in the beginning. He was always filming, always chasing deadlines. They had to go to counseling by 1988 just to save things. That same year, their daughter Hannah was born, right there on Tom's 63-acre avocado ranch in Ventura County. At first, it looked like a dream. Wide open land, animals everywhere, total peace. But over time, that quiet life turned heavy. Tom admitted later that the isolation on the ranch made things lonely and distant. He said he quit Magnum PI because he felt like a ghost in his own house. He wanted to be a real husband and father, not just a star, but the work kept pulling him away. Hannah grew up surrounded by animals instead of kids. 13 dogs, rabbits, cattle, sheep, and horses became her only friends. She eventually said that without horses to focus on, ranch life might have drowned her spirit completely. Tom had also adopted Jacqueline Ray's son, Kevin, back in 1987 when Kevin was 21. But Kevin's path was rocky. Even as a teen, his mom considered sending him away to boarding school because of his wild behavior. By his 20s, he was drinking heavily. Tom stepped in and got him help at the Betty Ford Center, but addiction's grip didn't let go easily. In 2011, Kevin was sued for $6,000 in credit card debt, a small sum for most, but a huge red flag for Tom. Despite all the fame and wealth, Kevin couldn't find his footing. Friends said Tom tried everything, money, advice, even space, but nothing seemed to help. The stress of watching his son struggle weighed on him deeply. Eventually, Kevin found stability, got married, and had 6 kids, but the scars of that battle never fully healed. Back in 1988, Tom had bought that same Ventura ranch from Dean Martin for $5 million, a symbol of success and privacy. But years later, it became the center of scandal. In 2015, California was in one of its worst droughts ever, and investigators accused Tom of illegally taking 1.4 million gallons of water to keep his crops alive. They said a tanker truck made 12 secret trips to a public hydrant 8 miles away. The investigation alone cost $21,685, the exact amount Tom ended up paying in settlement. He didn't admit guilt, but he agreed to stop using that source. By 2023, the drought hit even harder. His once lush ranch turned to dust. Over 1,500 avocado trees died, along with 25 oak trees that had stood for more than a century. Tom, now 79, was devastated. He said it broke his heart to see the land dying around him. Years earlier, he joked, "I don't even like avocados. Why eat them when I can sell them?" But by 2023, the avocado business that once symbolized his peace was gone completely. Then came 2024, and another blow. Blue Bloods, his longest-running show and biggest steady paycheck, was canceled. For over a decade, he'd earned $200,000 per episode, about $4.8 million a season. But when CBS asked for a 25% pay cut to save costs, Tom agreed without hesitation. He told producers, "We're the third most watched scripted show. Why kill it?" But it didn't matter. CBS pulled the plug anyway. The finale aired on December 13th, 2024. Tom read a heartfelt poem at the final family dinner scene, and the set turned into tears and silence. It was the end of an era, and the moment Tom realized his career might finally be over. Even though his ranch was now worth around $12 million, the numbers didn't add up. He'd taken out between $15 to $16 million in loans during the 2000s, and no one knew how much debt was left. He admitted live on CBS, "Am I set for life? Yeah, but maybe not on a 63-acre ranch." That comment sent fans into a frenzy. It was the first time Tom hinted he might lose everything. By 2025, things got worse. Tom's health was collapsing fast. At 80, he was nearly unrecognizable. Friends described him as smashed and disheveled, moving slow with a gut that hung over his belt. The man who once rode ATVs across his ranch to check wildflowers could barely stand without help. He'd already endured double knee replacement surgery in 2024, leaving long scars down both legs. The pain never left. Arthritis made every step a battle. Steroid treatments like prednisone caused massive weight gain and wild hunger swings. Depression crept in, and friends said he started eating in secret. Fast food, chips, burgers hidden in bags so no one would notice. One insider claimed he was eating himself into the grave. At 6'4", Tom's weight ballooned close to 350 pounds. The strong, commanding figure from Magnum PI had become frail, exhausted, and trapped in a body that no longer obeyed him. Those who knew him best said he wasn't chasing fame anymore. He was just trying to hold on to the last pieces of the life he'd built. By 2025, doctors started warning Tom that his health had hit a dangerous point. They said he was likely insulin resistant, and with his age, weight, and long list of medications, he was walking a tightrope. One wrong move could mean a heart attack, stroke, or worse. Jilly never left his side, but she was worn thin from watching him struggle. Tom didn't want to stop. Retirement terrified him, but experts said he might not have a choice anymore. His body simply couldn't handle the long days and pressure of filming. Still, the man refused to give up. In May 2024, he dropped his tell-all memoir, You Never Know, co-written with Ellis Hennigan, and it exploded into a bestseller overnight. Across 320 pages, Tom opened up like never before. Childhood memories, wild Hollywood parties, the roles he turned down, the heartbreaks, and the regrets that haunted him. It was raw, emotional, and brutally honest. The side of Tom Selleck the public had never seen before. CBS tried to keep his legacy alive, announcing a Blue Bloods spin-off in 2025 called Boston Blue, centered around Donnie Wahlberg. Tom wanted in so badly, he begged the network to let him appear, even if just for a cameo. Insiders said he was determined, but reality was harsh. He needed help just to walk some days. Wahlberg told fans, "Maybe there will be cameos. New York and Boston aren't that far apart." But everyone knew the truth. It would be nearly impossible. By 2026, those closest to Tom believed he was finally ready to step back. Not because he wanted to, but because his body was giving up. His mind still burned with purpose, but his knees, his heart, and his weight were begging for mercy. The ranch that once brought him peace had turned into a heavy burden. The land was dying, and the silence that once calmed him now haunted him. He told a friend, "I just need to work enough to keep the place." But time was running out fast. Those 63 acres that once symbolized his success had become his retreat. And maybe his goodbye friends said he spends his days now riding his ATV slowly through the hills, far from Hollywood lights, far from the noise, just Tom, Jilly, and decades of memories echoing across the land he fought so hard to keep. If you made it this far, drop a comment, hit that like button, share this story, and make sure to subscribe, because we've got more untold Hollywood stories coming your way. See you on the next one.